Welcome in. Emergency podcast. Last second recording tonight, episode 33. BBL Sports, the Big Boys League. How about them Tigers? Go Tigers. Go Tigers. We're going to recap Game 4, Tigers-Mariners. Talk a little bit of football. A little last second episode for you guys. All right, we're not wasting any time. Straight into it. Tigers win today, 9-3. And let me paint a picture. It's the bottom of the fifth inning. Tigers are down 3-0. It's same old, the worst at-bats you've ever seen in your life. I was 100% certain the season was over. What were your thoughts at that point in time?
Yeah, it was dark. It was dark. I hate being a downer fan, but it was really, really like a sad time. Sitting in the office, we had the game on. We were just like talking about where everything went wrong with the season, and then all of a sudden we started to get some base run. I mean, I don't blame anyone for being negative, and the person that was positive through all of it, sure, talk your shit to me. Talk your shit to everyone, I guess, but you're delusional, because what have the bats shown us in the last, I don't know, I mean...
2.5 months?
Yeah. And so I just, I didn't think that we were capable of 9 runs, past the 5th inning. That's insane. But yeah, it was doom and gloom, and I did bet the Tigers today, so I was happy. I actually live bet them as soon as we got somebody on first and third, which was awesome. But prior to that inning, it was a lot of Debbie Downer talk.
Listen, if you guys follow our social channels, I was kind of posting updates throughout the game, and those were 100% authentic. That's how I was feeling throughout the game. And yeah, it's bottom of the fifth. This team's shown me nothing on the offensive side and at the plate in the last 2.5 months. The 3-run lead just felt insurmountable at that point in time. And then, yes, some unlikely dudes were the ones that come through. Dingler getting things started, shoots that double into the gap. Javi Baez. We're going to come back to Javi because I want to pull some stats up and talk about this resurgence of Javi, this second resurgence of Javi in the playoffs and how awesome it is. But, yeah, I did not see that coming. And I want to throw this out really quick because I want to get viewers' opinions on this, and drop your comments and let me know if you guys think that maybe there's some superstition here. But I have posted this Stark in a tail at Comerica Park photo in black and white with depressing music 3 times now as kind of the bow on the casket of the 2025 Tiger season. I posted that at the start of the 5th inning today, and then the Tigers explode. And the 2 previous times I had posted that, the Tigers win the next day big and kind of revive the season. So maybe a little bit of superstition here. I might need to pull that out early in Game 5 Friday, especially if the Tigers get down early, because that might be our good luck charm, is me calling the end of the Tiger season with the Stark tail pick at Comerica.
Definitely. I think that we got to keep that one in our back pockets. Yeah. And I think we may even need it for the next game.
It's our secret weapon that no other team in the league has, is Stark wearing the tail at Comerica. But no, dude, that some questionable decisions early. I did not like pulling Mize after 3. I felt like Mize had good command. He was feeling it. I felt like he was getting better as the game went on, and really mind-boggling to pull him as quick as they did. You bring in Holton, he loads the bases, no outs. Finnegan comes in, finds a way to get out of that inning, only giving up 1 run. You're down 3-0, and then the bats came to life. And Jet, I know you played a little bit of baseball back in the day. I certainly played some baseball myself, and what I love so much about today is when you're at the plate, there's such this mental confidence part to hitting a baseball and being effective in hitting a baseball. I am hoping that what we saw today is a little bit of a confidence lift. I mean, Riley Green, where has he been for 2 months? He hit the things he did to that baseball. That was a 454-foot home run off of a left-handed slider to give them the lead. The game's 3-3 at that point. You got Javi Baez hitting a home run. You got Gleyber Torres hitting a home run. Zach McKinstry's bat came to life a little bit today. Like I said, Dingler shot the double in the gap. It was Jahmai Jones is on a roll right now. I need to see Jahmai Jones at some point on Friday because he has stepped up in a big way for the Tigers down the stretch. He had the playoff clinching hit for the Tigers in that Red Sox series, and then he comes in today, and he drove in the second run and then scored that tying run with his double to left field. So just it felt like the Tigers that we saw pre-All-Star break, where you would see these offensive explosions, confident at the plate, bombing home runs, finding ways to get on base, and then getting them in. And 9 runs within a 4-inning span is exactly what we need to see going into Friday with the best pitcher on planet Earth pitching for us. Jet, what's the confidence level for you Friday?
I do have to community note you. You said I played baseball, and by definition, I did play baseball. Played t-ball, played machine pitch, then played 10U, and then I got cut for my best friend's dad's baseball team. So, yeah, that ended my career abruptly.
No.
To the
No.
listeners that you know that, yeah, I don't really consider myself a baseball player, so hard to put myself in those shoes. But I will comment on the game. We do have the best pitcher in the world. He got me to love the Detroit Tigers again. Tariq Skubal is the fucking man. I have been a downer. I said we were going to win today just so that my heart could get ripped out in Seattle. You know, Skubal, what is he, 0-4 versus the Mariners this year? Is it 0-3 or 0-4?
0-3. Yeah, he's faced the
0-3.
Mariners 3 times, and the Tigers have lost all 3 of those games.
But in the words of big-time BBL listener, Zach Adams, Beans, shout out Beans, really hard to beat a guy 4 times in a row. So, I mean, I don't know. That gives me a little bit of hope. Thinking it actually is. Imagine just 4-0 against him. That would be pretty impressive. So I like our odds going into Seattle with knowing you have the best guy on the mound. If the bats are hot, I don't know if you listened to the post game. Did you listen to it?
A little bit.
Glaber, with some broken English, pretty much just said, like, we're going to put some boys on the bases for Skubal because it can't all be on him. So
Absolutely. I love to hear that.
yeah, it's good to know. And mind you, outside of Skubal, it's not even close who our second best player is, Gleyber Torres. He's playing his ass off.
I'm going to combat the point that you just made, and then we're going to get back into the preview on game 5. But is there an argument to be made here? And actually, I would say there's not even an argument. When it comes to position player in batters for the Tigers, Javi Baez has been the best Tiger in the playoffs up until this point, not named Skubal. I got Javi's playoff stats right here.
I was going to say, you got stats? Let's hear
I've
them.
got Javi's playoff stats right here, okay? This postseason, Javi is batting .346 with an .870 OPS. But the hits are coming at opportune times in big moments. Today, he drives in the game tying run, hits a huge single where almost hit the go ahead home run, which was barely foul. And then a couple pitches later, drives in the game tying run and gets Jemai home. And then in was it the sixth or the seventh inning, he hit the 2-run shot, just a bomb to left field. Um, and he has been both at shortstop and at the plate. He has been the Tigers' best player. And that's just awesome to see. I loved when we signed Javi Baez. I love Javi Baez. Baseball is just so much more fun when Javi Baez is playing well. And I think up until this point, Javi Baez is your MVP of the Detroit Tigers this postseason.
Yeah, we'll see how the rest of it plays out. I hope you're right, and I mean I've been kind of a hobby hater, so I've definitely got a little bit of the blinders on. But one of my favorite bets is to bet Javi Baez to strike out, and he has not been striking out. He really hasn't. He's been making contact with the ball often, and he does swing at a lot, but he's staying a little bit closer to the bag, not swinging at as much. So he's definitely a lot better, and he has looked pretty good this postseason.
Yeah, no, he's been fantastic. And what it really comes down to is exactly what you just said, the plate discipline. The thing with Javi, really since he's been a Tiger, if you pitch to Javi, if he's making contact, it's hard contact. I mean, he's got power. The problem is his plate discipline has been so atrocious throughout the last couple of years where he's not seeing any strikes at the plate. All you got to do is right-handed pitcher throw a slider that starts out of the zone and moves even farther out of the zone, and you're going to 3 times Javi struck out. I mean, he
Right.
was swinging. He literally is swinging at balls that were in Genesee County the last couple seasons, and he's got that plate discipline down to the point where I am shocked at some of these balls that he's taking that aren't in the zone that he should be taking, but just knowing what he's been for the last 3-4 years, really proud of how far his plate discipline has come.
I don't know. God, I'm trying to remember if it was game two or game three, but I was listening to the announcers, and Javi Baez was up to bat, and dude, they were pulling so hard for the Mariners. So I think it was in Seattle. But when Baez was up to bat, they were talking. They're like, "All right, if you start any pitch inside the zone to Javi Baez and it becomes a ball, it's an automatic strikeout." They said that on TV. They're like, and then they ended up walking him, and he was like, "Oh, he walked him because all the balls started outside of the zone and ended outside of the zone." He's like, "That's not how you strike out Javi Baez." I'm like, "What the hell type of home announcer is this? This is bullshit." But yeah, Javi obviously got walked. Good plate discipline. So yeah, you are right. He's getting a lot better.
Yeah, no, and again, you're going to have success at the plate if you make them throw you strikes. And that's been a huge problem for the Tigers this whole series is a ton of swing and miss outside of the zone, ton of strikeouts. I mean, inexcusable. The strikeout numbers and the runners left on base numbers for the Tigers this postseason has been inexcusable. Was today the day to get over the hump? I'm going to give you my thoughts on Game 5. Let's go back a year ago. We had Game 5, ALDS in Cleveland. Tarek Skubal on the mound. Best pitcher in the world. Couldn't get it done. Couldn't get it done. Gives up a grand slam to David Fry. Comes back and breaks David Fry's face at the end of the regular season. I don't know. Might be some weird mojo there. Maybe that's what got the Tigers over the hump here. Skubal gets another opportunity to pitch in a Game 5. Weight of the world on his shoulders. Win or go home. I think he does it this time. I think he seals the deal this time. He gets the same opportunity that he squandered last year. He gets it again this year. The Tigers got to be feeling good going out to Seattle. They've been in this situation. They've got the playoff experience that Seattle doesn't. Man, I'm feeling good. I think I think Seattle's not beaten Skubal for a fourth time this year. And I think Skubal's not letting this opportunity get away from him again. He had it last year, could not come through. I think this is the year. I think Skubal gets it done. I think the Tigers are going to go to the ALCS. And I can't believe I'm saying that, but I really truly believe that in my heart.
Why wouldn't you?
I also want to say, I think my relationship with the Detroit Tigers is the most toxic relationship that I've ever had in my life, whether it be friendship, work relationship, ex-girlfriends. I think this is the most toxic relationship I've ever had in my life, where I hate this team 1 second and then I love them the next. And right now I love this team. And I really do think my heart is, if they lose Friday night, it's going to be tough. It's going to hurt. My heart will be ripped out of my chest. But I've got no choice but to believe. I just think this is it. The stage is set, and Skubal gets it done this time. I think we see a masterclass out of Skubal on Friday night.
I couldn't agree more. You got to think too. Like, I don't know. I don't even think he's thinking about contract negotiations or anything like that right now. I think that time is over with the Tigers. I think the price of his bag probably can't go up, but how big of a legacy boost is it if you win with the dog shit Tigers? And I'm not shitting on this team. I'm shitting on ownership of not going out and spending any money at all for anyone, for any help, when you have the greatest pitcher in baseball. And it's like, if he could give us a little bit more of a run here, I mean, it just further cements his legacy.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And listen, it's not a knock. I mean, it is a knock on the Tigers and the players, but it's okay to say, it is okay to admit, the Tigers, the way that they are currently constructed, they have no business being in a Game 5 of the ALDS against the Seattle Mariners team. And to think that this squad, this ball club, could get to the ALCS is, man, if they do it, you got to credit Skubal. You got to credit the players that are making it happen. And you got to credit AJ Hinch, who I've questioned a ton down the stretch here, because to your point, they had an opportunity to go out and add some impact bats, add some impact arms at the deadline. And instead, they went and traded for Paddock, who's not even on the roster. They went and traded for Charlie Morton, who is no longer a Tiger, and he just retired. They traded for Finnegan. Now, Finnegan was the best move that they made at the deadline. They did trade for Finnegan. But some of those guys that you could have brought in are making some noise in some other uniforms, and a couple of them play for the Mariners, funny enough. But it would be quite the feat for this team, for AJ Hinch and for Tarek Skubal, if they find a way to get to the ALCS. Now, here's last question before we move off of the Tigers. Tigers get to the ALCS, but lose. Let's just say that happens. They get to the ALCS and lose. Whatever, no matter what happens in the ALCS. But if they get to the ALCS, is this season a success?
I think so.
I would say yes.
It's a loser mentality. It really is to say yeah, but I think it is. Like, what else do you expect? We definitely overperformed. Now, granted, if you say that at the beginning of the season when we were the hottest team in baseball, probably no. But the way our season finished, like, hell yeah, it would be great to knock off the Guardians and then go and knock off the Mariners. Like, yeah, that's awesome. So I would say yes. And before we do hop to the next thing, this can all be positive Tigers talk, because we did skip a game. Not really skip a game, but we did.
Yeah, you know what? Give us the rundown of Game 3, because, yes, you were there. So give us the rundown of Game 3 and the vibes at Comerica, because it didn't look good.
I shit you not, tear rolling down my eye at the beginning of the game. The national anthem was majestic. The sky looked like Trix yogurt. It was beautiful. We got a little bit of we pretty much got a night game. We did get a night game because of the rain delay. And after the national anthem, flyover. It was beautiful. Little helicopter. I'm like, oh, Stadium is ready. I thought it was going to be empty because of the rain delay. No, packed. And so I'm like, wow, this is actually exciting. You could have got tickets for like $20 because of the rain delay, but people did buy them. And so I'm like so excited for the game. We let up too early, whatever. We let up another two, and I'm like, all right, whatever. And I kept just thinking, all right, this is the inning. We're gonna put something together. Fifth inning, we get some guys on. We only score one. I'm like, all right, but at least the bats are going now. Dude, first pitch, next inning, solo shot. And they hit so many home runs on us. It was absolutely ridiculous. Carpenter drops a routine fly ball into the outfield off the top of his glove. And this was in like the 8th inning, so it really didn't matter at this point. But it did, because in the 9th inning, what does Hinch do? He puts all our DHs in. Jake Rogers hits. Wenzel Perez gets a hit. Ibanez gets a hit. And, dude, how bad are our bats for Carpenter to not be able to get a hit, for Riley Green to not be able to get a hit? And then all of a sudden we put in Jake Rogers and we put in, Ibanez and Wenzel Perez, and they're all being able to hit the same pitcher that is striking us out. So I was really, really pissed leaving that game. I think that, obviously if we play like that in Seattle, there's zero chance that we win anything. We have to give Scooble run support.
Absolutely. And I agree. And zero chance. And this goes back to where I was saying I have a very toxic relationship with the Detroit Tigers, because I couldn't stand the Detroit Tigers last night. And then today I'm on cloud nine after the performance today. It's just the 180 flip is wild. And kind of going back to one of the points I made earlier is the bad is bad and it's ugly with this team. And a lot of what we've seen with this team is they just can't come through in the high leverage spots where the pressure's up. And like you'll see, it's been a trend with this team is 2 outs, nobody on, you're down 3 runs. Okay, now I'm gonna get on base here, gonna get a single. Maybe we get a couple on, but there's 2 outs. There's not much we can do. Inning ends, we keep guys stranded on base. It's like the low leverage situations these guys want to step up. And in the 9th inning, you're down 8-1. All of a sudden, you want to string together some hits, and it's just kind of been the story of this team. And I'm hoping today was that turning point where your back was against the wall. Your season's over. It's 3-0 in the 5th inning, and everybody stepped up in one way or the other today. So it's funny. It couldn't be more different. The performance yesterday versus the performance today, total 180.
So true.
All right. Go Tigers. We're going to have our hearts broken if they don't do it Friday, but Scooble. Tarek Skubal, if you can hear us, please, Tarek Skubal. Please pitch a gem. Give us 8. Give us 8 to Friday. If you're listening to this now, it's probably tomorrow. Give us 8 scoreless, Skubal. Do it. All right, let's get in. We got to talk a little bit of football. We'll make it quick. Let's go. We have not talked a whole lot of college football on the podcast this year. It's been a lot of NFL talk, a lot of Lions talk. I want to do just a kind of a quick recap, and we're not quite to the middle of the midpoint of the season, but damn near there. We're really close to the midpoint of the season. So I want you, as the state fan and the state Michigan State Spartan of the podcast, to just kind of give your breakdown. How would you rate Michigan State's season up until this point? What have you seen out of the guys? And, talk a little bit about the Nebraska game this weekend.
Nebraska game was bad. There's quarterback controversy in East Lansing. That was a BBL listener submitted hot take. There's quarterback controversy in East Lansing. I don't really believe that, because our backup actually sucks. He was 0-1 versus Western Michigan with a pick 6. But no, he did come in and he threw a touchdown when Childs got concussed. I think that we're a poorly coached team, and I think Jonathan Smith is doing. I don't even know if he's doing just enough. I don't know what the standard is for our athletic department to get him fired, but it seemed like a really, really high bar standard for Mel Tucker because he got a lot of money. And I think there's like a reset of expectations of being like, maybe we're not going to be a top program, but Jonathan Smith's a good guy. He's got good high morals, and we gotta reset expectations in East Lansing after that previous wazoo that we were just involved in, and I hate it. I think we're getting cucked right now, and I mean, Childs is supposed to be this awesome generational talent, like mobile quarterback. We haven't had a mobile quarterback in East Lansing. Like he just isn't always making the smart decision, and I think that he is a great quarterback. And hell, if he was a quarterback for Alabama, I think they'd be in a much better spot. But we're not Alabama. We have the best wide receivers, and this is unbiased. We have the best wide receivers in the Big Ten. But outside of our wide receiver room, our offensive line is shit. Our defense can't stop a nosebleed, and we're not disciplined on special teams. Block punts for touchdowns, committing penalties on every kickoff. It's bad. So I think that with whatever we got going on with Jonathan Smith, he's a good guy. I would love to cut ties with him. And I think the Nebraska game spoke that into existence. That was a tie game going into late in the third, going into the fourth. And then we ended up getting like blown out and almost not covering a 12.5-point spread. That was bad.
Yeah, that pissed me off because I didn't bet it, but I picked Nebraska in that game, and I was kind of rooting for the cover there at the end. But all right, I'm going to give you the Michigan fan perspective here, and I'm actually going to say some nice things about State. And what I'm going to say is I couldn't agree with you more. I don't like the fit of Jonathan Smith in East Lansing. And growing up, dude, I couldn't respect Mark D'Antonio more, like coming from a Michigan fan. And I think the culture that he built at State, and you've got Izzo in the basketball program, and you had D'Antonio at the football program, and you kind of had this culture of like Michigan State athletics. They're going to be dog mentality. They're gritty. It might not be 5 stars, but they're going to find a way to get it done. They're going to be tough in the trenches. It's foreign to me to watch these state teams. And to your point, the best part of this Michigan State team is it's finesse. We've got this great wide receiver room, but we suck in the trenches. We've got this awesome quarterback, but he's got to have a pocket to throw out of. And he's not the best decision maker, but I just there's no life, there's no emotion, there's no passion when I watch this team. They're extremely undisciplined. So I couldn't agree with you more. And it is as a Michigan fan, just kind of watching from afar, it's foreign to me to see these Michigan State teams that they're not gritty. They don't have that dog kind of killer mentality that I'm used to seeing out of Michigan State Spartan teams my whole life. And D'Antonio's the guy that built that culture. And so I didn't love the Jonathan Smith hire for you guys off the jump because I just don't think he's that guy. I think he's a good football mind. But I think if you take a look around college football right now, you can't stress the importance of culture and culture building. And how important that is to any level of sports, but especially college football. And yeah, if I was a State fan, I'd be right there in the boat with you. I don't think Jonathan Smith's the guy.
Yeah, I think I had one other thing. I think we need a good football mind. You said he's a good football mind, but I also think, like, dude, you need somebody that's all culture. Like, how do we not have a good offensive line? And to say that we're like a lower tier program is so false. We're top 5 in the Big Ten in NIL money. We have money to go get people. And it's like, all right, where do we go wrong? Is it the money that we're giving to some of these players? Is it actually scouting? And we don't know. I know we know how to find a wide receiver, and I know that we have this great relationship with this quarterback, but fuck, Sam Levitt was in Jonathan Smith's home state. He didn't recruit him, and then he left because he was coming. And now, granted, when he left, you know what I said? I said, good riddance. We're getting Aiden Childs. Little did I know that Sam Levitt
Yeah,
is, Heisman frontrunner at the beginning of the season. Now, granted, he's not going to anymore because of their losses, but he's he's a top five quarterback in the nation, probably. I
certainly.
I I I think that Childs is great, but I also just think that Jonathan Smith is not as good of a football coach as probably MSU thought when we hired him. And hell, I don't know who I'd want, but I mean, when you get this wishing mentality, who fits MSU's build, who fits MSU's culture, I have no clue. I don't think there's any good coaches out there right now that I would want. Like Coach Ogeron. Like, yeah, bring him back to college football. He's not going to fit in at MSU. He's an SEC guy, dude.
No.
It's rumored that Mike McDaniel is going to get fired from the Dolphins. Yeah, I think that he would dominate at a college football program. Would he dominate at MSU? Probably not. I don't see his coaching style or play style to fit in with us. I would love a big name like that, but I don't see it realistically. I think we're going to have to get some coordinator from some coaching legend, and hopefully he can establish his own dynasty at MSU. But I think we're going to be in for some shitty years at Michigan State football program, which is so sad. But yeah, I don't like where this is going. I think we're going to be in purgatory where we win just enough games to, not have an immediate firing mid-season. But I think we're going to lose pretty much any meaningful game in the near future. I have no hope
Yeah.
for us to beat Michigan. Like that game's going to be 21 plus points that Michigan beats us by.
That's a great segue into I'm going to talk a little bit. And I want to get your thoughts as well on Michigan, midpoint of the season. How do we rate the way that Michigan has looked so far? I'll make this quick. I would say Michigan is meeting expectations up until this point. The one loss at Oklahoma, I did not love how conservative Sharon Moore was in that game. Would have liked to see, even if your freshman plays you out of the game, just give him the chance, man. Just give him the chance. I really did not like the way that Sharon coached that game. And I think a talking point, I think it needs to be said, is in the two games that Michigan had Biff Poggi on the sideline and not Sharon Moore, way less conservative with the play calling on offense, kind of letting it rip a little bit more. Man, Michigan looked like a good team in those two games. Now, they played Central Michigan, they played Nebraska. It's not like they were playing, crazy, crazy competition. But they were willing to take more chances, and I just hope that doesn't the conservative nature of Sharon Moore doesn't come back to bite them at some point during the season. But Michigan's got some dudes, and let's start on the defensive side of the ball. Jayshon Barham, I think he's a top 10 pick coming off of the edge. They moved him from inside linebacker to pretty much he's playing 100% edge. They drop him back into coverage a little bit. He's kind of more of that outside linebacker role. They'll drop him back into coverage a little bit, but dude, he is scary coming off of the edge, and what he does for that defense is you can't say enough about him. And Wink Martindale, we saw this last year. The defense didn't look great at the beginning of the season, and they started to get a little bit better, and then a little bit better, and a little bit better. And by the end of the season, that defense was playing their best football under Wink's system. And if we could see kind of a similar type progression for this team on the defensive side of the ball, and Bryce Underwood continues to get better, I think we're seriously talking about a Michigan team that can make the playoffs. Now, huge game this weekend at USC on the road. This is a massive game, and Michigan's actually 2.5-point dogs as we sit here today. But I just think if I had to grade Michigan's season up until this point, it's a passing grade. I'll give it a C+. You're meeting expectations. You're not exceeding expectations. but there's a lot that you can build on where you can make the case that this might be a playoff worthy team. And there's a real shot, I think, for Michigan to go into that OSU game at home sitting 10-1. The way the schedule plays out, you get through this USC game this weekend, you find a way to win on the road. There is a real shot of sitting at 10-1 going into that Ohio State game. And it might not matter what happens in that game. You might be in the playoffs. So I would just say, a lot of worries. The conservative play calling, I don't love it. Bryce Underwood shows those flashes. I think it's obvious what he's going to be for Michigan in the years to come. But you also can tell he's a true freshman. Some of the decisions he makes, some of the throws that he makes, you can tell that he's a true freshman. But I think he's going to continue to get better. I think this defense is going to get better. They've got dogs, and I can't talk Michigan football without naming the guy that you love, that I gave out as my dark horse for Heisman at the beginning of the season. Justice Haynes, what a portal pickup. He's legit. He is legit.
Justice Haynes is the man.
Your thoughts on Michigan football at the midpoint?
Yeah, Justice Haynes, best running back in the country probably. He's so good. I think that this is a hot take that Michigan fans won't love to hear. I think that you guys are obviously in a better spot than MSU, but damn near for all intents and purposes the same exact spot. Your recruiting's definitely better. Your NIL is a lot more. But I think that you have a coach that cannot get you to where Michigan fans expect to be, and that's playoffs every single year. That's Big Ten championship every single year. That's beating Ohio State every single year. No chance I think Sharon Moore has that in him. I think losing to Oklahoma is that's not even a big deal. Oklahoma's top 3 team in the country. Mateer, Heisman candidate. Oklahoma's a really good team. I think his play calling is suspect. I think that he's a Michigan man with good Michigan culture. He instills that. But I think that he's a false prophet, second coming of Harbaugh. I don't think that he's the one to get it done or win you your next national championship, which is Michigan expectations, and why wouldn't they with what Harbaugh did with the program? So I think that you guys are going to be in the shadow of Ohio State and Oregon for probably a little bit until Lanning, I don't know, decides to leave Oregon for greener pastures, if that's even a thing. I think that that's probably the best job. But I don't see Ohio State slowing down. They look like the best team in the country again this year. So would I rather be in Michigan's shoes right now? Fuck yes, a million times. You have something fun to root for. You have a thought process in your head that, we could make the playoffs. But in reality, outside looking in, not a fan, I don't think that there's a shot to win a national championship with this team, even though you have the number 1 recruited quarterback in the country. In my opinion, you have the best quarterback in the country. You got probably I would say a top 10 defense in the country, realistically. With those things, if you had a really good coach, you should be national title favorites. And tell me what you disagree with out of that.
So, all right, a couple things. This might shock you. I don't disagree with much of what you said. I too have my questions about Sharon. Is he the guy? I think there's an argument to be made with the whole Stallions probe and everything that was going on that maybe Michigan just said, all right, let's make the easy hire. Let's bridge this gap. Let's see what happens with the Stallions probe. And we've got our fall guy if we need to move on. I think that I don't think it's that hot of a take or crazy for you to say that Sharon might not be the guy. Now, the one caveat I want to throw in, though, Sharon has coached in the last 2 Michigan games versus Ohio State. He's 2-0 versus Ryan Day in those games. So he has shown the ability to coach Michigan teams to victories in big spots and in big games. So I think the jury's still out. Let's see what kind of coach he is. Can he finish the game? Can he finish the season strong? Can he win the games? To me, what makes college football so exciting is just how difficult it is to run the table, to win every game that you're supposed to win. And I think the best coaches in college football find a way. Find a way to get your team ready and up. And okay, you got to go to Illinois is good this year, but you got to go to Champaign and play on a Saturday morning, or you got to go to Purdue and play on a Saturday morning. It's tough to get these guys up to play and win those games on a consistent basis. So I think let's see how Michigan finishes this season. Do I have national title expectations for Michigan this year? No, not at all. But what I will tell you, there is no reason that you should not win a national championship with Bryce Underwood as your quarterback. And what I'm really hoping to see, if you're a wide receiver in college football right now, and you're looking at the talent of Bryce Underwood, the way that he throws the football, and the lack of talent in the Michigan wide receiver room, that's where I want to go. That's where I want to transfer to. That's who I want to play with next season if I'm a wide receiver in college football. So I would like to see, and I think we will see, a revamping of the offense and the wide receiver room, tight end room potentially in this offseason, especially with the NIL funds that Michigan has. So I will say this. Sharon Moore doesn't win a national championship with Bryce Underwood as his quarterback. Failure. No excuse.
100%. But to counterpoint what you said, what wide receiver wants to go to Michigan when they watched tape on the Oklahoma game and they ran the ball, 35 times down in that game? They were down the entire game. It's like, dude, that offense, or at least his offensive game plan, something would have to change, or they would have to be selling some snake oil to some wide receivers, being like, "Oh, come here, we're gonna throw it to you. I promise you, we're gonna throw it." When you only have when your top wide receiver has 3 receptions in a game, it's not a bright spot for a top wide receiver to be like, "Yeah, I want to go there. I want to go there and get no receptions." Like, obviously, that's no knock to Bryce. It was the game plan. It was the offensive game plan. And then I do have one other hot take for Michigan.
Exactly. All right, one more hot take, then we'll move on to the Lions.
Michigan will lose 1 out of its next 3 games. Goes to USC, back home to Washington, which should be an absolute blowout. Washington's a bad football team. It's at home. They will be double-digit favorites. Like, they will be well into double-digit favorites. Probably 18, I would set the line. That game they should win, but you never know. Letdown spots happen. It's college football. They're just kids. And then they play Michigan State in East Lansing, which I did just say it'll be a 21-point game for sure. But that 3-game stretch for this team with that coach, you never know. You never know. So I think they lose 1 out of their next 3. And if they beat USC, I'll be really happy. And if they beat Washington, I'll be even happier. But if they lose to USC, it's going to be a massacre against. No, if they lose to USC, I'm saying they're going to massacre Michigan State. They're only going to lose 1 out of the 3, but they will lose 1. That's my Jet Li guarantee.
All right, we'll come back to this. We will come back to this in a month, and we'll see. And you might be right. You might be right. But I expect them to go out and take care of business. I give Michigan the nod in that game. I just think their defense is too good, and they're going to find ways to score. USC's defense is atrocious.
It's it's really bad.
We'll see. But all right, let's get to the last recap of the night. The Lions. Hot take, maybe not hot take. It's almost boring to talk about the Lions right now. They're bringing belt every week. Like, who's next? It's like, line them up. Who's next? And but I love it, and I'm kidding. It is not boring. I can do this every week. I would love to watch 20-point blowouts every week. It's just it can't. We have to talk about how impressive it is what the Lions are doing. in the NFL, you don't just roll in and whoop teams the way that they've whooped teams over the last 4 weeks. And it started with the Ravens. And I don't want to hear, oh, it was the Ravens. That win doesn't mean much anymore. No, no, no. The Ravens had Lamar. The Ravens had the majority of their defense. They were missing Van Noy. That was a mostly healthy and competitive Baltimore Ravens team. The Baltimore Ravens team we've seen the last couple weeks is not the same team that the Lions played. So I just want to get that out of the way. But man, they've looked really impressive. And after week one, there were certainly worries. And at this point in time, I mean, you look around the NFL, it is not a stretch of by any means to say the Lions are the best team in the league. And John Morton's only going to get better with the play calling moving forward. Kelvin Shepard's getting better week after week. What we need to talk about, though, is the concern level of last year, it was our defensive line. This year, it's our secondary. Terry and Arnold out for an undisclosed amount of time. We don't know what the severity is yet. Good news came out today. It's not as bad as initially thought. DJ Reed going to the IR. Very, very thin at the cornerback position. We lost Rakestraw before the season even started. Dude hasn't even played in the NFL yet. We drafted him 2 years ago. What's your concern level over the next few weeks with this Lions team before they head into the bye, just given the injuries? And then are you in the same boat with me? Lions best team in the NFL?
Definitely not the best team in the NFL. I can be a realist because Stark isn't on here right now. I'd get barked at if I talk negatively about him. I have different thoughts. I thought the Bengals game was shit. We did not play well. Jared Goff was the bright spot. 4 incompletions, 0 turnovers, awesome. And then I do think that a little bit of bullshit, that Montgomery fumble was not a fumble. I don't know if you know what play I'm talking about, but like it was like a little dump off pass. And
I think you're talking Goff?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking the Goff pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was complete bullshit. But I called it Montgomery because he should have picked up the ball. It was right there, but whatever. Dude, Jake Browning is not a good quarterback. He threw for 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter on our secondary. And you said 20-point blowouts are boring. 20-point blowouts are boring. They had the ball down 10 with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left or whatever. Like, granted, we weren't going to lose the game, but there was a point where we might not cover versus Jake Browning. And granted, a sack safety ended the game, but holy shit, dude. Jamar Chase, 8. And, he's a top wide receiver in the league, but Jake Browning's he's not even the 32nd best quarterback in the NFL. He is worse than a bunch of other backups and every starter. He's bad. He's so bad. So, I mean, Joe Flacco they just traded for Joe Flacco because Jake Browning's that bad. And so, I mean, I'm nervous about our secondary. We should have blanked them. I would have really loved if our defense dominated them. The Vikings defense scored 3 touchdowns and blanked the Bengals when they played against Jake Browning. Jake Browning scored 3 touchdowns on us in the fourth quarter. We weren't going to lose that game, but it was damn closer than it should have been. Our secondary should not, and granted, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, yes, they're great wide receivers, but Jake Browning shouldn't be able to do that to us. We should have been getting more pressure on him. We should not have let that game be that close. And so I don't think we're the best team in football because if our secondary is going to allow Jake Browning to put up 21 points in a quarter, you're not the best team in football. You're just not. And that doesn't mean we can't win and we can't be successful and we can't win a Super Bowl. We got injuries in the secondary, and I think we're still figuring things out with young coordinators. I think we're going to get better throughout the season. But to immediately claim that we're the best team in football right now, after what? We did
5
beat
weeks.
the Ravens, which was a good win. But we're coming off beating the Bengals and the Browns, 2 of the worst teams in football right now. And the Bears. Wow. So I think I have a lot more optimism than week 1. but shit, it's going to be absolute warfare to win our division.
No, and I think that's fair. And I think it's fair. I'm going to play devil's advocate for a hot second here, though, because I agree with you. I mean, that fourth quarter was inexcusable, but without answering my question, you answer my question on your concern level with the injuries in the secondary. Because when Terrian was in the game, we shut down Jamar Chase. We shut down T. Higgins. Amik Robinson was playing great on Jamar Chase. And then he ended up getting burnt on that long touchdown. But secondary was playing very well, holding up very well against those receivers. We were getting pressure on Jake Browning. Then fourth quarter rolls around. Terrian's out of the game. And Jamar's numbers came on that 170-yard touchdown catch. Like, he had 100 yards on the day and a touchdown, and the majority of it came from that one catch where he burned Amik. Amik was on an island. So where I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit is I agree with you. There's a lot of concern in the secondary. But I think you're going to see better performances out of some of these guys that had to come in and take reps for TA when he went down. After a week of practice, after being in practice, playing with the ones, being a part of the game plan. And then Kelvin Shepard building a game plan around the weak secondary. I think the Lions want to get after the quarterback and play single-man coverage.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes is going to kill you if you do that. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is going to absolutely kill you if you do that. And so if I know that, Kelvin Shepard knows that. And I think we see a much different game plan on the defensive side out of the Lions. And I think the good news is this. Patrick Mahomes is still Patrick Mahomes. This Kansas City offense is probably the worst that he has had in his time in Kansas City. This is not a high-powered offense. And the good part and the good thing with the Lions is they are a high-powered offense. Maybe the most high-powered in the NFL, them in Indy. So I'm with you. I think I am concerned about the injuries, and I think that is what happened in that fourth quarter is weak secondary. And we had a game plan and we stuck to it. So, but no, I'm excited to see kind of what happens. When do we get TA back? And then we should be getting Reed back shortly after the bye, which is good news based on his injury, as we should be getting him back pretty shortly after the bye. But we're not going to get into the futuristic and looking at the games coming down the pipeline. But it is Kansas City, and then it's Tampa Bay. Really important 2-game stretch here for the Lions. Find a way to split. Go 2-0, I'm on top of the world. But find a way to split these 2 games heading into the bye at 5-2, and I think every Lions fan will take that.
If we go 2-0 over the next 2 games, I'm booking flight and hotel for Super Bowl this year.
I love it. I'll join. We'll split an Airbnb and
Yes.
we'll head out to San Fran. I've never been out there. So, but no. Well, all right. We'll end it there. This was good, kind of recapping everything. We're gonna record again to look forward to the game this weekend against Kansas City and make our picks and all of that fun stuff. Most likely tomorrow night. But no, this was fun. A little emergency pod. We had to hop on and talk after the Tigers game. And then we want to get some football talk in the mix too. So if you guys are listening to this, we appreciate you. Shout out to Stark. He wasn't able to make it tonight, but shout out to Starky.